Hi, this is John with The Evolving World. Today I'm doing a video on a 2018 Toyota Prius Prime. This particular car has the premium package, which is the mid-level trim package. The color you see is blue magnetism for the exterior, and for the interior is an ash, which is basically a light gray. This video will be basically shot in 4 segments. The first segment will be myself walking around the vehicle, just showing you what it looks like from the outside, zooming into some details if there's anything that kind of stands out to me, tell you my impressions of the exterior. And then the second segment will be the interior, and that's basically just stepping into the interior, looking around, pushing buttons, honking the horn, turning on the wipers, kind of playing with the video display, so all the kind of things that you might encounter when you're inside the car. Third segment will be driving impressions. I'll take it on the road, take it on some twisty roads, take it on a highway, go through a tunnel, kind of show you what impressions are as I'm driving it. And fourth segment will basically be just charging, any kind of charging issues I have or any delights that I find with the car, and then any kind of final thoughts. Although undoubtedly some people will find the exterior styling to be a little bit controversial, I would say specifically the front and rear turn signals are kind of a little bit awkward. But other than that, I think Toyota has done a really good job at making an interesting new kind of shape to a car. I think it looks clean and modern. So beginning in 2017 with the 4th generation of the Prius, there's now 2 different models now with 2 different shapes. So there's the standard hybrid, which has a more conventional shape to it, and then there's this Prime version, which is the plug-in variant, which has its own kind of shape and details to it. So they are actually evolving to become 2 different models now. We have to see where this is going to go here, but I strongly suspect that eventually the Prime will probably become a pure electric car, and then the hybrid, the standard Prius, will become just a standard, more conventional hybrid. So the Prius Prime has 2 different modes. It has a pure EV mode, and it has a hybrid mode. So it defaults to electric mode, and when it does that, there's 2 electric motors driving the car. Both of them are driving the front wheels. One has 31 horsepower, one has 71 for a combined total of 102 horsepower. And when it's in hybrid mode, there's a 1.8 liter Atkinson style gasoline engine which produces 95 horsepower and 105 pounds of torque. Although the torque is boosted from one of the electric motors, it boosted up to 121 total. The 0 to 60 time is about 11.5, maybe 12 seconds or so. And when it's in hybrid mode, it's about 10.5 seconds. The EPA rates the electric vehicle range at 25 miles. And when it's in hybrid mode, it gets about 54 combined miles per gallon, which is actually pretty impressive for a 3,370 pound vehicle. Your total range would be around 600 miles. The battery pack is an 8.8 kilowatt lithium ion battery pack. It's located in the back of the car. Although only 6 kilowatts is available at any given time, there's always a little bit in reserve so that it can perform consistently, especially when it's in hybrid mode. It weighs 265 pounds, and since it's on the back of the car, it actually levels out the car. It actually equals out the weight distribution quite a bit, keeping the weight at 55 in the front and 45 in the back, which definitely helps with the handling. And that brings us to one of the more interesting features I like about the car. The carbon fiber hatch is a really cool little touch. I love carbon fiber. I like how light it is. I like how strong it is. I like the thermodynamics of it. I like the longevity of it. I mean, everything about it is really cool. And so you're going to start to see this on more cars of the future for sure. So this is one of the earlier cars to use carbon fiber. I mean, BMW i3 pretty much pioneered the technology on a mass production car. And now you're going to start to see it appear on more cars going forward. The only real downside between the Prius Prime and the regular Prius is you lose a little bit of storage area. The Prius Prime has a 19.8 cubic foot storage area, and the regular Prius has a 24.6. I have to say I like this interior design. It's quite striking with the gray ash and then the black. Gives it a very nice modern kind of feel to it. This is the premium edition, so it has this synthetic material that looks like leather, but it's actually just vinyl, I think. Some sort of synthetic leather-like material. So very easy to clean. Be pretty easy to keep it clean. It's a very comfortable car. I like everything's tight fitting too, like the windows and the door. Everything's nice and tight. It's a well-built car. It's one touchdown window here in the back. Interesting, so the window actually goes all the way down too. You don't always see that on the rear windows on cars. One touch up as well. Plenty of headroom, plenty of feet space. Now with this particular car, the Prime edition, you don't have a middle seat. So unlike the regular Prius, there's kind of a middle seat, but there's no middle seat on the Prime. So I guess there's battery that extends down in there. Although it looks like you could still put a child seat. And also, you know, if you think about it, how often do you actually use the middle seat anyway? You know, I think most people, nobody wants to sit in the middle on a car with 3 seats in the back, so it's probably not going to be missed that much, but it is something that's slightly different than the standard Prius. 12 volt, 120 watt down here. I don't see any other USB outlets. There should probably be something like that here, but other than that, it seems to have everything you want. Notice we have a little bit of illumination here down here. It's got a nice little touch. Very nice tight car. I like the design. This is much improved over previous generation of Priuses in my opinion. Seems like a better design, just cleaner. Nicer displays, much nicer displays than previous cars. A lot of times this is just monotone color up here. It was just like a green. And that was the only color. It wasn't until you got down here that you got the other color. And of course with the premium edition of this car, of the Prime or greater, you get the nice vertical touchscreen here, which is definitely influenced by Tesla. You'll probably see more and more cars of the future that are going to use the same design too, just because I think it's working so well. So this is 11.6 inch screen. Not quite as big as the Tesla's. I think it's 17 on that car, I believe, but it's still pretty good size. Allows for nice display of stuff here. Of course, like all Priuses, the speedometer is off to the right, which is not always the most best position, but you kind of get used to it. You kind of find that when you're driving. This is about what my view is right here from the seat here. That's about how you see it. Just right over the right edge of the steering wheel. Kind of get used to that a little bit. It's interesting that there's still incandescent lights in here. I noticed that there's no LED. Seems like they would have the LED to go with the rest of the car, but this is all incandescent stuff in here. Now you could probably easily upgrade those bulbs if you wanted to, though. Just thought that would be it would be standard to be LED. A lot of the competition has LED bulbs now. But yeah, as I was mentioning before, I like the design of the interior. It's just a really nice design. Kind of zoom in here a little bit on the seat. A little bit of blue stitching right there. This gray vinyl is all it is. They call it synthetic leather, but it makes it sound better than vinyl, I guess. But it's a nice cheerful interior. I like that. Seats are comfortable and everything. another charging port here, USB. Only one USB and one aux in, it looks like. That's all there is. There could probably be a few more USB ports, especially there should be one in the back, but there's nothing in the back. That would be something they could improve upon a little bit here. So this, the premium does have the optional, well, it comes with the premium pack. It comes with wireless charging for cell phone device or other kind of electric devices that support that. So you just place your phone down there and it charges. Because if you turn that on, and our familiar control switch for the drive and reverse and brake mode. It's pretty much a standard Prius only shift knob, I guess. Power seats are kind of in an awkward position, like down here. A little bit awkward. I guess you can see it. Looking for it. A lot of times there'll be more up here though. So one touch down windows. All four of them are the same. Yeah, this is definitely a nice improvement over previous Prii, I would say, since I've had experiences with the other ones. The second and the third generation cars. Not so much the first, but the second and third generation. This is the fourth generation. I would definitely say it's definitely a nice improvement. So I'll just go over some of the controls here. Oh, we got a horn that's kind of marginal sounding, a little beepy, a little bit almost mopedy. Everything seems to be pretty intuitive. Nothing strange here. So if you push on the trip button down here, you can see information. Trip A. Shows you how many miles of gas range you've got and how many rounds of EV range we have. So this car does get 25 mile EPA rated range in electric mode, which is almost twice, I think it is twice what the previous car was, the previous plug-in variant, which is a nice improvement. Audio controls. Does have like radar, cruise control, get a certain amount of options with the premium pack. Lane keep assist, which you can turn on and off. Climate system. Go ahead and turn this on. Oh, interesting. That turned the engine on. So even when you're in EV mode, if you turn on a few too many items here, it will turn the engine on. Turning on the front, defogging the windows. I guess that needs the air conditioner kick in, so that's why I turned on the engine. So your menu display here for information. Interesting. Shard schedule. Weather. I don't know how much of this is, oh, I guess it is connected. Traffic. That's taking energy out of the battery into the climate right now. See if we turn off the AC here. So everything's on this touchscreen too. That's another thing too. There's no secondary controls. Sometimes there'll be secondary physical controls like switches and buttons. Like this one has it all integrated, which is probably cleaner. Cruise control. Typical Toyota has a separate lever for that. Power on. Key fob. So I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised and proud to report that this version of the Prius is the best Prius I've ever driven. I've driven the previous generation plug-in, and I was not impressed with that car at all. It drove very awkwardly. This car, however, drives like a pure EV, which is much nicer than the previous version. And of course, we have the nice multi-link rear suspension. And with the range being up to 25 miles now for the electric drive, that is pretty much, that's a pretty substantial increase. I mean, the previous version was like 12, I believe, and it was just such a horribly driving car too, whereas this one, it drives more like a pure EV. It feels like it's perfectly happy in EV mode. And the multi-link suspension is very nice improvement. I can actually feel the difference when you hit these bumps and everything. It's quite noticeably different. Now, it's not a sports car, don't get me wrong, but it drives very nice. It's still a little bit on the, I mean, it's definitely a family car first. I mean, it's got a little bit of a cushy ride, excessively so. It could be a little bit firmed up. I think what you might be able to do, this car has 195/65 series tires on 15-inch rims. If you were to upgrade to 16-inch rims, do 205/55 series tires, I think it would be a nice improvement. See, there's the line right there. You can see where that line is. Let me just go a little over that line. It does actually detect that. That's pretty good. That could be helpful. See, if you go this way, it doesn't do it though. See how I'm going over the line on the left side? It's not doing it. Only if it must detect that solid white line over there, but it doesn't detect it over here. So see if I go on, so that only works on one side. See, I'm clearly off the road here. So that's only marginally helpful. I mean, because if you go off course this way, you're going to hit another car potentially and kill yourself and maybe somebody else, and we don't want to do that. So another thing that I'm finding that's a little bit annoying is right here, this whole area right here, there's kind of a blind spot. It's just kind of like the Nissan LEAF and some of these other cars that have the forward sharply raked windshield that's a mile away from you. Like it just, this whole pillar is just right in your line of sight, right when you're making a sharp turn. It's this whole area, all this over, there's a big triangular space that I can't see the curb. It doesn't matter if I adjust the seat up and where my head is touching the roof, it doesn't make any difference. There's kind of a little blind spot right there, so I'm not crazy about that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a 0 to 60 time right here. So I'm in full EV mode right now. I've got about 10.4 miles of range on the battery still, so it's still just under half the charge. So we should have pretty good power. We'll see what happens here. 3, 2, 1, go. Wow, it spins the tires a little bit. That was a little slippery back. There was some wetness there. Oh yeah, it definitely tapers off. You know, it's pretty slow. Good God. All right, there's 60. Yeah, I can see where 11 seconds comes from. It's fast, like 0 to 30, 35, 40. I'm in hybrid mode now. The engine's already on, so it's warming up a little bit right now. So the engine should be good and warm. So let's go ahead and do a 0 to 60 time here. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh yeah, that's noticeably quicker. Especially from 50 to 60. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I could see that. That would definitely make a difference of about a second. Or maybe even 2. Coming into the tunnel. Headlights turn on at some point. Oh, there they go. A little bit of a delay. Alright, so one of the limitations of this car, it only charges at 3.6 kilowatts, so that's a little bit slower than some cars, but of course this is a 8.8 kilowatt pack, so probably has something to do with it. So it's not super slow, but it's not very great either. Let's go ahead and hit the power here and see what's happening. Charging connector. So that's good. It shows you what's happening. We have a little display right here. It looks like we have 3 little lights right there. So that's kind of like the Nissan LEAF actually. So if that's any indication, I would say it's, when we reach one of those bars, we'll be at around 50% or so, as I recall. So Kia Soul has a similar display, as well as the Nissan LEAF. Let's see if we can find any more additional information. It's always nice to know what our state of charge is on anything that's resembling an EV. Okay, so we know that. Let's see here. Engine stopped, battery. Well, okay, so here it says time to full charge, hour and 50 minutes. Well, that's not too bad. Well, that's going to do it for this review of a 2018 Toyota Prius Prime. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you found it useful. Please like and subscribe if you did. Many more videos to come.